over there just to see if it's going. Okay, I guess we are live. This is happening. Hello, everybody. Welcome to. I guess we are live. This is happening. Hello, everybody. Welcome to. Okay, perfect. I'm so happy for everybody that's joining. I hope everybody's having a blessed Tuesday evening. You're blessed and highly favored. I hope you were able to get um, some contracts closed today, some new listings signed. I know I had a hell of a day. Let me go ahead. I'm going to go on here, Instagram Live. Hello, everyone. We're live on Instagram. So, wherever you're signing on from, we've got Instagram here, we've got YouTube here. It's so amazing that now it's so easy to connect with people worldwide, literally. And I'm very happy to be able to be here tonight, to be able to share the passion that I have for probate real estate. Probate real estate has completely changed my life. It's changed my team's life, my family's life, and the families that we serve, we are changing their lives. So it's my honor and pleasure to be with you tonight. Hello, Instagram. I'm seeing some people on there. Thank you so much for joining. And tonight we're going to be talking about what we're doing in probate real estate. A lot of misconceptions about what is probate real estate. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background on me, is I have been a traditional realtor since I was 18 years old. And I did traditional real estate for most of my life. And I recently got involved in probate real estate about 5 years ago. And I have successfully closed over 100 probate real estate transactions. And, when you're doing probate real estate, there's a lot of things that nobody even realizes happens in probate real estate. My first transaction, I didn't even know what probate was, okay? So if you're a realtor out there and you're saying you've heard about probate or you've heard about probate real estate, you may have no idea what probate is. So tonight I'm going to give you a deep dive on literally what probate is and how you can tap into this market extremely easy. Okay. And this is a market of people that needs help. They need realtors like yourself that are out there looking to build a career, looking to serve families. And if you are in real estate, if you're a realtor, typically you love people. Okay. And that's a big thing in probate because these families need somebody that can help them. So just some basics here is probate is what happens when somebody passes away. So you, me, and everybody on planet Earth, one day we will pass away. It's the birds and the bees, okay? So as of now, we don't have immortality, okay? Everyone will pass away at some point. And when you're speaking about when you get old, like, do people envision themselves dying in a nursing home or being in a facility? No, people want to age in place. People buy their houses and they want to live there until they pass away. I remember cold calling, just regular residential cold calling, and people would say to me, I'm going to die in this house. You're going to bury me in the backyard, right? People have an intention to stay in their homes until they pass on. Well, when those people pass on, guess what? That house is now transferred over to their heirs, okay? And so in probate, the probate is the legal process of transferring the decedent's assets over to their heirs, okay? And probate's happening everywhere, guys. This is actually a global thing, okay? everywhere in the world, we were born and we pass away, right? And probate is that legal process that transfers things over to your heirs. So tonight we're going to be talking about how do I find these probate leads, and do I have to spend a bunch of money? As realtors, it's our own business, right? Like we have to buy the leads, we got to do the marketing, we've got to do all the work. Nobody's giving us anything, everything's on us. So in probate, it's very, very easy to get inside of this market without you having to break the bank, okay? Now, can you pay for probate leads? Absolutely. You can pay for anything in life, right? And when we pay for things, it ultimately makes our life easier. But sometimes when you're just getting started off on something new, you don't want to invest thousands of dollars into getting probate leads, right? There's several different companies out there. Just to kind of name a few that I've used over my time is All the Leads, Foreclosures Daily. You can use batch leads. There's a lot of different programs out there where you can get the leads given to you where they already pull it. Each one of these types of lead sources, each company that I've worked with, they've honestly all have their pros and their cons, okay? But tonight, I'm not going to be teaching you how to buy leads. I'm going to be teaching you how to get free leads, okay? And that's what we're all here to do, is get the free leads, okay? So when you're in probate real estate, as we discussed, this is a legal transfer, right? So this is a legal court process that's happening in all of our backyards, in every single county in the world, in United States, there is probate. So probate is a court process that is a public record, okay? So when somebody files probate, it is in your clerk of court's office. So every single person in their courthouse has a probate department, okay? In that probate department, probate leads are public records, okay? Now, a lot of times you'll hear estate planning attorneys and they'll always be telling you, set up a trust, set up a trust, set up a trust. Well, if you set up a trust, guess what? That's one of the benefits, is that you jump over the public system and your information is private. Your estate is private. But let me tell you guys, as much as the estate planning attorneys are out there advocating for setting up a trust, every single day people are going through probate. People are filing probates, okay? And so in your county clerk's office, you can go in person, okay? Some of my courthouses that I visit regularly, you go into their office and you request it in person. So you can go ahead into the clerk's office and say, I want all the probate records from this date to this date, okay? Now, there's a lot of areas that have probate records online. Now, to get the online access, you do have to register, okay? So they're not going to be able to, it's not like your property appraiser's website where you can just, go online and just search, right? If you're going to go online, you can search for probate records online without registering, but the key is that you have to have either the first and last name of the decedent, or you have to have the case number. So it's very unlikely that you're going to have a first name and a last name or a case number of a decedent when you have no idea who passed away. Now, of course, if you wanted to be, extra credit, now I've personally never done this, but technically you could look at, what's going on in the obituaries. Again, it's a little bit crazy to think about that, but technically it is a public record, right? So if you see that somebody passed away, they put the name of the person that passed away, you search their name, and probate record comes right up, okay? Personally, what I've always done is go in person, right? So once you go in person, you let your clerk of courts know that you want the probates from this date to this date, or you set up an online account and then you can go ahead and search those probates on your own, okay? Now, guys, if you're joining me live here today, I want to give you the opportunity to ask your questions, okay? So if you have questions about probate real estate, about the process, shoot me. I'm live on Instagram, so you can go ahead and send me a message. And we also have some folks here on Zoom, and also on YouTube. So I want to make myself available to ask some questions that people have about probate real estate. So let's go ahead and get into what are you going to find on these probate records? Well, probate records are very detailed, okay? And you're going to have some homework at the end of this live session because I'm going to challenge you to do something at the end of this, okay? So you got to stick around for the challenge. So, in a probate record, what you're typically going to have, and honestly, the only information we really need, okay, is going to be the name of the decedent, okay? You'll get the date of death most of the time when the person passed away. You're going to get the address, the last known address of the decedent, okay? You're going to have access to who is the executor, okay? Who is the executor of the estate? Now, people that are not familiar with probate may be saying, well, what is an executor, right? Well, the executor is either named in the will. So if there is a will, there will be an executor of the estate outlined in the will. Now, if there is no will, then the person, someone in the family, now it doesn't have to be a family member either. A lot of people don't know that. It could be a neighbor, a close relative. Sometimes attorneys act as executors for estates. So it really could be really anybody, but most of the time it's the closest heirs. So it may be, your, husband or wife, daughter, son, very close relative. So that executor is who we want to get in touch with, okay? Because the executor is the one that's administering the estate, okay? So in that probate record, you're going to get the executor name. And in some counties, you will actually just get the phone number. So a lot of counties that I work in, it literally has executor name, executor phone number. So we're talking about like totally free lead information, no skip tracing, no paying for leads, okay? This is literally public information made available to the public. That's what it is, right? You're also going to be getting mailing address of the executor, where that executor is coming from, and then you're also going to get the attorney on the file, okay? And that's very important too, because attorneys can be very resourceful in reaching out to the executors and saying, is this person interested in selling the property, right? You'll also get a file date. When did they file probate? And in some counties, they provide a lot more information. But honestly, for us, if you're in real estate, you're a realtor, and you're looking to get into this niche, and you're looking to develop the skills and the solutions to help families with inherited properties, then that's really all the information we need to do our job, okay? So it's really crazy how much free information is out there in the marketplace, okay? So now the next step is we got these free leads, okay? We got all the information. We got the executor, we have the decedent, we have the address, we have the phone number. Now, what do we do, right? How do we connect with these free leads, okay? And I'm going to encourage you, if you're a realtor on this training right now, if you're watching this and you're a realtor, I know I also get a lot of investors interested in probate leads. And why? Because typically investors are the only ones reaching out to probate, okay? Why is that? Well, probate can be a little complicated. People have problems in probate, right? It can be a lot of moving parts. And so also, probate houses, think about majority of people that pass away, it's grandma and grandpa, right? Like, yes, the probate case that changed my life forever was an 18 and a 19-year-old executor that I ended up, servicing because their mom passed away unexpectedly, right? So those do happen all the time, right? We all know people that have just poof, like one day to the next, they're no longer here, right? But for the most part in life, you pass away when you get older. When you're older, guess what? You don't care about, your pink appliances. You don't care about the carpet. You've got wallpaper and you're happy with it. Okay. So these are houses that investors really target because they need to be renovated, they need to be fixed and flipped. This is why it is such a great opportunity for realtors because executors need options. They don't just need cash offers, which let's be honest, for all of my, investors out here, you're getting it for as low as possibly that you can possibly get the deal. Okay. So I've been on plenty of appointments where, people are getting cash offers that are 50% less than fair market value. Okay. And for the investor, yes, it's a great deal. You'll always hear about that. But as a realtor, we have a duty to the public, right? When we get our real estate license, it is to serve the public, right? And so we have to make sure that we're giving them factual information of what is the house actually worth, right? If they want to take an offer less, then so be it, right? But we have that accountability. So these families need more professionals reaching out to them and providing them fair market offers and solutions on how they can overcome some of the problems that they deal with, okay? So how are we reaching out to them? So anybody that knows me, you know how I'm reaching out to them, right? So I'm definitely cold calling them. I love just reaching out to the executor directly. The awesome thing is all their information is in the probate lead. Okay. So literally their phone number is right there. It's so easy to just pick up the phone and just say, hey, my name is Carolyn Castillo. I recently came across your probate record and I wanted to find out if the family might be thinking about selling the property. It's that easy, guys. There's no convincing them. It's not a highly targeted list. Like mostly who's reaching out to them is investors is mainly who's reaching out to these people, but they need realtors like us, real estate professionals that are passionate about helping people in this trying time after their loved one has passed away, having a professional on the other side that's not looking to buy their house for as little as possible, but is interested in getting them as much money as possible, passing that money on to their heirs. Okay. So my favorite way to reach out is by cold calling them. Okay. And but that's not the only way. You may be saying, Carolyn, there's no way, there's no how, never in a million am I gonna be cold calling. Well, that's okay, okay? Because you can mail them, right? Sending the executors a letter and letting them know that you're a professional realtor in the marketplace and you can help them with their estate. You're going to be able to go ahead and present your services. You're going to be able to go ahead and tell them that you have solutions with probate attorneys. You know how to prepare houses for sale. You can connect them with estate sale, companies that can help clear out the houses, handyman work to get the houses fixed up, right? These people need help and solutions. So there's a funny joke in Florida. Okay. I know there's people from all over, the United States here, but I'm in Florida and there's a funny joke in Florida that says, Florida is heaven's waiting room. Think about it. Everybody wants to come here to die. I know it's kind of morbid to say it like that, but think about it. People that are living in New York, Chicago, they literally come here to retire. They're coming here for their retirement. And when they pass away, where is their family? They're not in Florida. Okay, so imagine if you inherited a condo or a house in Florida and you've got to take off of work and you've got to come clear out a house and you don't even know anybody and you don't have any connections. And this is where we become valuable. Okay, so cold calling them, mailing them, right? And hey, for some of us that are like to get in the field, door knocking, right? There's been plenty of times that I've just swung by an executor's estate that is close by to me, right? going by and introducing myself and letting them know that the service is available. Most people don't realize that there's somebody on their side. They only know probate attorney. Well, I'm here to tell you, probate attorneys are amazing, but they're only doing the legal paperwork, guys. They're only taking the asset and transferring it from the deceased name over to the heirs' names. But they're not getting involved with the clean out, with maybe they have problems with the heirs, the brothers and sisters. Not all brothers and sisters talk every day, okay? And when someone passes away, all of a sudden, now you've become, real estate investors with your brothers and sisters that you haven't talked to in a year, okay? So it can be a little bit challenging. So stopping by and just giving them some information, giving them some resources, and letting them know that there's assistance in the community should they want it, okay? And then the other way that I like to do it as well is by attracting these families, right? So we're in a day and age where people are Googling, right? People are looking for resources. Matter of fact, ChatGPT is referring people to you, right? So when you stand out in the marketplace and you're putting content out there, and you have a YouTube channel, you're putting stuff out on social media, you have a Google page, right? And you're letting people know that you specialize in working with families with inherited properties. When they go and do a Google search and they're looking for an estate sale, they're maybe planning a funeral, they're looking for a probate attorney. I had two people this week reach out to me from the internet, right? And said, I just inherited my family's house. I really need your help. They didn't even have a probate attorney. So they're reaching out to me first, and then I'm able to go ahead and connect them with a probate attorney and connect them with an estate sale. So there's so many ways to reach out to these people. And like I said, it's a free lead, right? We're not paying thousands of dollars to get leads. We're not paying thousands of dollars to run ads. This is just good old fashioned real estate and reaching out to people, okay? So let's talk about one other thing, okay? Why do most realtors get this wrong? Okay. What most realtors don't really realize is that with this, they think, oh, this is too legal. There's too much legal stuff involved. I'm not going to get involved. I'll just wait till after they get out of probate. And when they get out of probate, then I'll help them sell the house. You're missing it. You're not a probate realtor. Okay. So if you're waiting till after the probate's done, you're not a probate realtor. A probate realtor is somebody that gets in the middle. A realtor is somebody that's actually helping you solve the problems while you're in probate. A lot of families don't even realize this, but you can sell a house in probate, right? You don't have to wait until probate's finished for you to sell the house. You can sell the house when you're in probate, right? And I see a lot of realtors, they spend too much time searching and researching and looking for the leads, and they'll go to the courthouse, they'll get the list, but then there's no action afterwards, right? And I want to encourage, if you're a realtor out there and you've wanted to get into this business, you've wanted to get into probate real estate, and you've been kind of like paralyzed with reaching out, I hear a lot of agents tell me like, oh, it's too sensitive, I don't want to reach out, what if, no, take all of that out the window. When somebody files probate, I hate to tell you guys, but it's a business, right? So that you're not reaching out to them when they're going to the funeral. You're not reaching out to them when they guess at the news. When they file probate, that means that they're ready to start working on the business. They're ready to start working on the business side of handling their loved one's estate. Okay. So you don't have to worry about this being a very emotional call or an emotional experience. No, people need the voice of reason. They need the person that is grounded, that's not emotional, right? That can guide them through the process and get them to the other side. Okay. Now, let me just tell you, why does this matter so much? Okay. I'm truly blessed that God put this probate in my life. I mean, I never even knew what probate was until I got my first probate deal. Okay. But I really had no idea what was up ahead. Okay. So maybe you guys have heard the great wealth transfer. Okay. This is where baby boomers, right, are basically passing away. Okay. Baby boomers are the ones that are, based on the records, they say that they're holding nearly 84 trillion in assets. Okay. Now, all of these assets are supposed to transfer hands by 2048. Okay. So, what are we in? 2025? Guys, we got work to do. Okay. Out of that 84 trillion, that's made up of, stocks, 401ks, annuities, all types of investments, right? Guess how much of that 84 trillion is made up in real estate? Approximately 19 trillion. Okay. So when these people pass away, the houses are going to be passed down to their heirs. Let's face it, nowadays everybody has their own house. This is not like the 1950s where everybody just, grandma's house and then Betty's house and then, everybody has their own house now. Okay. So nobody's like generationally living in these houses. Okay. So when somebody inherits a property, they're selling it. The statistics is that 70% of these houses are sold, guys. 70%. Okay. Me personally, what I've seen from working in this business is when I get the probate records and I'm working with these families, 50% of them are putting their houses up for sale or selling their houses in the first 6 months. Okay. Why does that happen? Why you may think, oh, well, most of them, wait and wait. No, why it happens is these houses could have mortgages on it. When you inherit a house, it's not like inheriting a 401k, right? It's not like inheriting a stock, right? When you inherit a house, guess what? Utilities have to be paid, electric bill, water bill. You're also going to be having mortgages that need to be paid. Maybe there's an HOA, the grass has got to be cut, pool's got to be cleaned, right? Vandalism, vacant properties, right? Inheriting a house is actually a liability. Okay. So a lot of families, they get excited that, hey, we're going to be getting this amazing property until they realize, oh, wow, this amazing property. Oh, crap, the air conditioning just broke out. Well, who's going to pay for that? Right? Now you and your brothers and sisters just inherited this house. Who's going to pay for the air conditioning that just broke down? Right? So it becomes a liability for the family. And so that's why these families move quickly to sell these houses. Okay. Now, the other 20% from what I see is they do sell down the road. Okay. So if you're a realtor and you've ever done like circle prospecting or cold calling where you're just calling around neighborhoods and you're just saying, oh, it's calling to find out if you might be thinking about selling your house, right? You have dynamic data when you're a probate realtor, right? Because somebody on a cold call that maybe will tell you, no, we're not selling, right? Don't throw away that number, right? That's a person that you want to hit up maybe 8 months down the road, maybe 1 year down the road. And when you call them, like, when I reach out to families that it's a husband or wife that passes away, those typically do not sell right away, right? Because that's their home, right? So if your husband or wife passes away, that's still your house. That's where you live. But after you live there for a little while without your husband or without your wife, you may be thinking like, this house is too big or it's too much for me to keep up by myself, and you want to downsize, right? So these probate real estate is just like a never ending, opportunity for realtors, for now business, for people that want to sell today, right now, and then for people that want to sell in the future. Okay. So if you've been in real estate, it's all about your pipeline. How big is your pipeline? How many people do you have in your database, right? So this is a really beautiful niche that realtors can get into. And guys, there's so much opportunity. Did you hear the stats from 2048? We've got another 20, 30 years. that this whole transfer is going to be happening. So this is an opportunity for realtors to get involved in a business that, guess what? It doesn't matter if it's a good market or a bad market, right? We know right now is not the best market. Right? We know that real estate right now is not doing so hot, especially in Florida, Arizona, Texas, houses are canceling off the market, sellers are not selling because they're not getting their prices. Guess what? In probate, that doesn't happen. This is free money for them, right? They want to get rid of these houses and they want to do it as quick as possible because they don't want to pay the light bill, the mortgage and all the things that go with it. Okay. So for me, I got into it was like one deal, two deals, three deals, four deals, 100 plus transactions I've already completed. Working with all these families and seeing what they go through and seeing their problems, you start creating these solutions, to help these families. And it's such a beautiful business to get into because it's buildable, right? It's not a trend, it's not going away. As of now, we haven't, relocated to Mars, right? Like we live in houses and we're mortal, so we will pass away, okay? So this is just something that you can be very useful, okay, in the real estate market. So I have a little homework for you guys, okay? And I see some people here in the Zoom. I'm going to get to those questions right now, guys. Thank you for submitting that. So, woo, a little out of breath. Good leaves. Okay. So, this is the challenge, okay? If you're here today and you're saying, you know what, Carolyn, you piqued my interest. I'm thinking about probate. I may consider this. You've made a lot of good points, okay? What your field trip is going to be is you're going down to the courthouse, okay? And anytime I go down to the probate courthouse, you wouldn't believe how open and nice the people are there, okay? And people are willing to help you. And every county is different. So if you take me up on this field trip, that would be really cool if you like take a selfie while you're in your probate courthouse, okay? And go down there and talk to these people, talk to the clerk about the probate process, talk to them about what you can do to get a list of leads. Now you can tell them hey, I want the probates for the last year, okay? They do make you pay for the copies. And some of them have computers where it's like a little cubicle and then you sit there and they'll let you just look it up. Some courthouses, unfortunately, will not print it and you have to write it down. So that's kind of annoying. But most of, bigger markets, they're going to have a system, right? So most of them will print it off for you, or you could register online and you can just download them online, okay? But this is going to be your homework, okay? Go out into your local marketplaces. Guys, this is happening in every single county in the United States and beyond, okay? Go down to your local courthouse and see what the process is, okay? See how easy it is. Look at the information that they're giving you and see what could I do with it. Should I call them? Should I mail them? Should I door knock them? Should I advertise and just attract people to come to me to offer help, right? So these are some things I want to give you to walk away with today. And then if you're interested in really taking this further, I would love to work with you, okay? I work with agents, training agents how to do probate all over the country. So if you're thinking, man, Carolyn, this makes a lot of sense, then I'm gonna if you're on Instagram, feel free to send me a DM probate and I'll send you a link that we can set up a Zoom meeting. Let's talk about your marketplace. Let's talk about your business and see if probate is a good fit for you, okay? Probate has been amazing for me, and I think that more realtors, more real estate professionals are needed in this space, okay? So, guys, I'm gonna go ahead. I got a couple questions here. I see one from Instagram. It says, how many cases are you pulling a week? So, very good question. So in probate, there's not everybody that goes through probate owns a house, okay? So if you're pulling your probate leads weekly from your courthouse, you're probably gonna have like 100 or more, okay? probably, okay, at least 100, okay, but not all those people have real estate. So when you do reach out to people in probate, for us as realtors, if they didn't own a property, then there's really no reason for us to reach out, okay? So out of those people, most of my markets is about 40 leads a week. So about almost 50% of, probate filings have real estate. So that's another reason why I always loved it, especially when I first got started, because it's like every week you get, anywhere from 25 to 40 probates. Yes. So you said 20 to 25 a week. Yes, in 4 counties. So yeah, so it just depends, right? So I'm in Florida. So I work in a lot of the bigger markets, Dade County, Palm Beach County, Broward County, Duval County. Like I'm in big markets. So if you're not in a highly populated area, then obviously it's going to be a little bit less. But listen, how many houses does the average realtor sell, right? Like if you get 4 to 5 houses a month, 4 to 5 listings a month, out of that 20, can you get one? Can you get one? Right? If you got one a week, that would be 4 a month. I'm good. That's a pretty good living for a realtor, right? So, don't be so obsessed with, I like that it's a small amount of numbers, because it's easier for me to follow up. It's easier for me to connect with these people. One of the questions here is, they asked the same question. How many probates are filed weekly? So we already went over that. Is it awkward reaching out to probate leads? Okay. So it's only awkward if you make it awkward. It's not awkward for me whatsoever. They have filed probate, so that means that they're already ready to do business. Okay, they're ready to work with you. They're ready to transact. A lot of people don't realize. I actually host a networking group locally where I am, and there's a whole post administration side of when somebody passes away, so they're not just having to file probate, right? They're having to, do a death claim with their life insurance. They're having to file an estate tax return. They're having to do work with a funeral home to plan a funeral. They're having to call all the banks. They're having to close out their creditors. I mean, guys, being an executor is a big job, okay? So they're ready when they file probate. They're honestly ready to just do business, okay? So I know other people that, have talked about probate, like, my condolences, I'm so sorry, but I really don't do that. If the family wants to share that with me, then I will obviously be sympathetic and will be, match, their energy, but I really don't, I really don't find it awkward at all. I'm a professional in the space that's going to give them honest information. And, guys, I've sold a lot of different things in real estate for sale by owners, expireds, different types of real estate leads. And this is a non-sales experience. So when you're selling to families in probate, it's all about education. It's all about guidance. It's not like a high pressured, like now, people are going to go and they're going to use your services because you're providing them value. You're helping them make it easier for them. The average executor, I mean, you maybe will be an executor or go through probate maybe once or twice a lifetime, literally. Like it's not something that people pass through a lot, So when they have somebody that can come alongside them and can guide them and can give them the local resources and can help them, trust me, you get the business and you win the deal, okay? So I hope this was informative for everybody. I'm really loving to connect with everybody online. And if you are interested in getting a deeper knowledge of probate, definitely visit us on YouTube. You'll check the link in the bio, and we are opening our group up for new students, okay? So we would love to, if you want to mentor with somebody, if you want to be with someone that's actually in the streets doing deals, okay? Not a retired guru that's teaching you from a platform, but We are live cold calling with our group together in the class. We're going over our deals every single meeting that we get together, and we're strategizing and we're building a probate network, guys. Remember, 2048. This is a long journey, okay? I'll be retired by then, that's for sure, okay? So I'm planning on doing probate real estate for the rest of my career, and I would love to do it with you as well, okay? So thank you guys once again for being here and interacting. And if you have any further questions, just put it in the go ahead and drop it in the YouTube, because I hope we're live on YouTube. Okay. Drop it on the YouTube, and I'll definitely reply to the comments. And I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you guys being here. So thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Woohoo!